With Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door getting a remake for the Nintendo Switch, one of the biggest questions surrounding it is about new content. Will this remake have any new content that the original GameCube title didn't have? And if so, what sort of new content could we see? Well, we put together a list of some potential ideas to go over, so let's get right into it. Number 1. Boss Rematches. One of the new features recently advertised for the Super Mario RPG remake is the ability to rematch bosses. You can challenge some bosses from throughout the game in a much more challenging post-game rematch. They specify some, so this probably won't be the case for all bosses. Now, that's for Super Mario RPG, but what about Paper Mario? Could we see post-game boss rematches here in the Thousand Year Door remake? We could already rematch Rockhawk anytime in the Glitz Pit, but there were several other bosses and enemies found throughout the game that could probably receive a similar treatment this time around, like Cortez and the Shadow Sirens, and many more. It would be great to get even harder boss battles against some of these enemies. Number 2. A classic music option. Another feature that comes from the Super Mario RPG remake is an option to swap the soundtrack from the newly remastered version to the classic tunes of the original. We've already been seeing some discourse online, with people unsure if they prefer the original TTYD music or the new arrangements we heard in the reveal trailer for the remake. So the best way to go around this would be to add a toggle in the options for which soundtrack you'd prefer to have playing. I'm sure many would prefer to keep the music from the original, but I'm personally pretty excited to hear all of the new arrangements. If this was an option available in the game, which would you use? Number 3. A music player. Keeping on a similar theme to the last idea with music, the more recent Paper Mario titles have all featured a music player somewhere in the game. Sometimes the entire feature was unlocked all at once, while other times you unlocked songs as you progress through the game and find collectibles. If we got a music player here in the Thousand Year Door, it would probably be unlocked all at once, perhaps as something available in the post-game. But where would you go for it? Maybe somewhere in Rogueport, since that's the main hub? Maybe Professor Frankly can get a record player in his house. Or we could see some new features added to the Pianta Parlor. Number 4. A museum and gallery. Each of the recent Paper Mario games since Sticker Star have all had a museum with an unlockable gallery feature, letting players view concept art for the game. Could we see something like that here in the Thousand Year Door? Well, the museum portion would be difficult. The journal in the menu basically keeps track of all those collectibles, the title log, the recipe list, badges, etc. So presumably there wouldn't actually be anything to physically put into the museum like in other games, but it could still be a location where unlockable rewards are stored, such as the previously mentioned music player, and maybe a gallery for concept art. But where would it go? Something like this would be best in the main hub, but unless all of these go into the Pianta Parlor, there aren't many other places in Rogueport that may be well suited, unless we look at Rogueport's Underground City, which might be a better fit. Although, if features like these weren't restricted to the main hub, I would love to see it used to flesh out the Poshley Sanctum over in Poshley Heights. This place is really empty, so it would be great to see some additions to flesh it out, even if they were locked behind postgame. An art gallery, music player, and other rewards could be perfect for the area. Number 5. Super Flags and Challenges. The recent Paper Mario games had rewards for completing certain challenges and reaching milestones, and it would be interesting to see the same implemented here in the Thousand Year Door. Some sort of trophy or achievement for meeting certain goals, or completing different journals, would be great, such as for completing all titles, getting all badges, completing the recipe list, finding all star pieces, and more. Yeah, it would be small in the grand scheme of things, but it would add incentive for players looking to reach that 100% completion. Number 6. Hard and Easy Modes. With the Super Mario RPG remake adding an easy mode, it makes some curious if we could see a similar feature added to this Paper Mario remake. An easy mode, or maybe even a hard mode? Well, probably not, because we basically already have that feature thanks to the badges, such as the Unsimplifier, which makes action commands harder to hit, while the Simplifier conversely makes them easier. And there are other badges that do even more. So we probably won't see a difficulty setting on top of these badges, especially since the other Paper Mario games don't have one. Number 7, a Super Luigi side mode. One of the best ongoing continuities in the Thousand Year Door is the story of Luigi's adventure to save the Waffle Kingdom. And one of the biggest questions we've seen about this upcoming remake is if we could see that translated into a brand new playable side adventure, like how the Mario & Luigi remakes added in brand new side modes, with Bowser's Minions and Bowser Jr.'s Journey. So there is a bit of a precedence for the idea. If we did get a Luigi mode here, it would likely follow the exact same story we learned about throughout the events of the game. However, if this became a playable mode, it might actually lose a lot of the charm to the storytelling. In the original game, we can hear these stories of adventure from Luigi himself, although he stretches the truth a bit, while his partners, most of whom hate him, reveal what really happened. And then the whole story is sensationalized into the Super Luigi books that you can purchase and read. So if this adventure is kept true to the original, then it may not be all that fun to actually play. Finding the middle ground for the actual truth of the adventure, where most of Luigi's partners don't even like him, doesn't sound like the best of times, frankly. But if they ended up changing the story for the remake here, making it more heroic and like a short Paper Mario adventure for Luigi, it could be fun. We just can't keep Luigi as the butt of the joke then. So realistically, while I would love a Luigi side mode, I think it would need to be done right, which would likely require retconning his original adventure and rewriting it, which might be met with mixed reactions. Number 8, original partner cameos. In the trailer for this remake, we can see a new addition to Mario's house, a framed picture of his partners from the first Paper Mario game. As it turns out, each of these partners were originally meant to have a cameo appearance in the Thousand Year Door. However, only 2 of them made it into the final game. Parakarry delivering the letter in the game's intro, and Lady Bo appearing in Poshley Heights during the postgame. So, it would be great to see the rest of the partners get proper cameos this time around. Put Goombario's family on the Excess Express, or Cooper visiting Petalburg, for example. There are plenty of ways they can add Mario's friends as NPCs for quick little cameos, but I hope we see them all here in the remake. Number 9, more post-game content. Of course, many of the ideas we've mentioned in this video could ultimately be tied to a more fleshed out post-game. In the original game, Mario can return to Rogueport after beating the final boss, and while it was nice to check on various NPCs for new dialogue, go back to finished locales, have 3 new troubles to solve, and have the chance to finish anything needed for 100% completion, it could definitely do with some more content. So here's hoping the remake gets exactly that. Pretty much anything we mention here in this video, or even more brand new troubles that open up in the post-game, would be a great way to add some new content in. And with that, those are 9 ideas for potential new content in the Thousand Year Door remake. Of course, some of these feel more likely than others, but between cut content from the original game and precedent established with other remakes and Paper Mario titles, we really might see something new here. Would you guys be excited for any of these additions if they happened? What sort of new content do you guys want to see get added? Let us know down in the comments below, and stay tuned to GameXplain for plenty more on Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door, and other things gaming as well, of course. Until next time, farewell.